What's up, everybody? Welcome to Monday Mindset, July 15th. It is 10 o'clock already, another Monday. Who's going to be at 8%? That is the question. I am headed out to 8%, I believe, tomorrow or Wednesday. We'll see some of you there. I hope a lot of you are going to Cody Askins' event at 8% in Missouri. It'll be the first time he's hosting it in Missouri, so I think it's the first time I've ever been to Missouri. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to, I think I speak on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So really excited for what I'm going to share there. Today, for this Monday Mindset, just trying to get us focused and fired up for the week, and just explain a little bit of what happens in the life of an entrepreneur, in the life of a business person, in the life of a salesperson, right? This happens to all of us. If you're trying to grow, quite frankly, this stuff happens to you. And obviously, it's like, how do you deal with it? And so everything in business is not rainbows and unicorns, as we all know. Most of the time, I think people explain it this way. It's, growing a business is basically the ability to get punched in the face every single day, maybe sometimes multiple times a day, and not letting it phase you and getting back up over and over again. I had a client text me this morning while I was at breakfast with another meeting, and the client texted me and I listened to their voice memo and they said, Luke, you love feedback. Here's some feedback for you. I had a sales rep. I was doing, I think he said 1,600 postcards with you guys a month. My sales rep, Bobby, ended up leaving your company. I got this new rep that called me, but the new rep's never called me since. And I've just found out that May went by, June went by, and I didn't send out my postcard. So that's, $2,800 in revenue for you, lost, 2,800 postcards, failed to go out the door for me, going. And I just want to make sure you knew. And I view feedback as one of the best gifts you can ever receive. So that punch in the face is a great punch in the face, honestly, because it's valuable feedback that I can then take. And, this is kind of how I deal with it. I don't know how you guys deal with it. Literally, grab your pillow and scream into your pillow for 5 seconds. Give yourself 5 seconds to let out the frustration because, just like you, man, it is so frustrating when you're just like, who did this? Why did this happen? And you give yourself just 5 seconds to vent about it. And then you realize, one of our core values here is extreme ownership, right? And you've probably read the book by Jocko when it comes to extreme ownership, the Navy SEAL guy. And you realize, well, you know why that happened? Because it's your fault, because you don't have the greatest system in place. You maybe didn't hire the right person. You definitely didn't train them right. And maybe you don't have the right leadership there. And you're the one who placed the leader there. So it's just a cycle of like, this is a problem that you have created in your business. And once you recognize, okay, it's your problem, then you can deal with it. I think oftentimes the natural response, because it's my natural response, who did this? How did this happen? Your natural response is to look externally to, I don't want to say pass blame, but pass blame onto, well, this happened. I would have never let this happen. Why this happened? And so vent, but then you have to kind of rewind and go, well, this happened because of your system, your business. You put this in place. So you need to look at this that Will just sent you, Will Penny, as a gift and go, man, feedback is the most valuable thing you can ever get. Fantastic. I told Will, thank you so much. Appreciate you. This is insanely frustrating and I apologize. I'm going to look into this and plug that hole so it never happens again and make sure we take care of you. And it got me thinking, because that was, the text I received at breakfast. And then I get in and there's an email sitting for me in my inbox where there's somebody accusing us or something. That is not true, but that happens all the time. If you haven't been accused of something that you didn't do in business yet, you either haven't been doing it long enough, or maybe you just haven't gotten to that level of business yet. It will happen. It comes as part of the game. So I hope that encourages some of you out there that if you're facing people saying things about you or accusing you of things or claiming things that aren't true, that is so normal. That is part of the game. I remember when I got my first person that was accusing me or trying to claim something or come at me with a lawsuit or whatever years and years ago. And I was just absolutely panicked. And I was part of this business group because I was like, I haven't done this wrong. Here's the facts, blah, 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 blah. And, they looked at me and they're like, oh, this is the only one you gotten? Oh my gosh, man, you're lucky. How's this, happen? And I realized, oh, wow, It's part of the game. I don't want it to happen. I want to make sure I have the structures and things in place and look at why it happened and bolster up the things that I need to bolster up process-wise, people-wise, contract-wise, whatever it is, to solve these issues in the future. So it's not just being apathetic to it, but it's also realizing this is part of the game. As you rise up in business, as you rise up in success, you will have, whether you call it haters come out, you will have people who just disagree. They just don't vibe with you. They don't like what you stand for. They don't like what you do. And you can't let that deter you. And that really gets to my ultimate message for today is like, I don't know how your morning started off. Maybe your morning started off fantastic. And oh, Joe, you're finally out of Facebook jail. Your comment came through. I love it, bro. Hope you're doing well this morning. But, whether your day started out like mine, where you get a text message of a mistake that you guys have made for a client that you care about, or an email or someone accusing you of something or whatever, or maybe it started out good and you got a great lead, you closed the deal this morning. The key, I believe, in being able to withstand and continue to go over and over again is you have to be, in my opinion, a values-based business. And I didn't appreciate that, I think, enough maybe in my early years as much as I appreciate it today, is you have to be a values-based business because you'll never be able to totally control what all the ecosystem out there says about you, does around you, responds to you. You can't control theirs, but you can control you. And if you're a values-based business, then you can lay your head on your pillow at night knowing that regardless of what the world says about me, I know what I believe and I know what I stand for and I know what I'm doing and I'm good with that. And because I'm good with that, it allows me to stand in the face of adversity. But if you're not a values-based business, if you're a what I would call transactional-based business or feedback-based business, then the problem with that is we're all after getting the higher revenue and the bigger net profit because we ultimately want to make more money. But then you're subjective, to what people are saying and what people are coming at you with. And it makes you constantly pivot ultimately too much because you're not centered on your values, you're centered on the transaction. And when you're centered on the transaction, when that thing happens to you, you're like, okay, I got to fix this because this transaction's not working, instead of being like, hey, that is what it is. And I remember watching an interview with Elon Musk that really was powerful, where they were talking to him about some of the things he tweets and saying, basically, how can you tweet these things? Aren't you concerned about your stock price going down? And I'm summarizing here, but Elon Musk basically said, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if the effect of that is losing money, so be it. That's a value-based person. Whether you agree with his values or not agree with his values, he has a belief in his right of freedom of speech and his right to be able to say what he wants to say. He does not let the influence of what he makes, whether it's with Tesla or SpaceX or whatever, influence his decision making there, even though I'm sure there have been many times in his journey where that has been so tempting because it is very hard. So what does that mean for you in application? What it means for me is, Luke, do you know your values that you stand for? And have you determined those values before you enter the fight? I've shared before, I'm the son of a pastor, right? So I grew up a pastor's kid. And, one of the things my dad taught me and my mom taught me when it came to like dealing with temptation, which we always deal with temptation, and I'll use a classic example, right? When you're in high school and you're around your friends or whatever, and people are getting into something they shouldn't get into, whether it's, something around drugs or something around partying or whatever it is. If you wait until that moment to make your decision of what your values are and who you're gonna be, you'll probably cave because you're waiting till the moment of temptation to make the decision. But if you've made your decision of who you are and what you're going to be and what you're going to do, then you have a much better chance of surviving when the adversity comes your way, when the temptation comes your way, because you've already made the decision of who you're going to be. And you can make sure you stand on that. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. We all fall down. But because you're value-based, that allows you to move forward in the face of adversity, in the face of attack, in the face of even messing up. because you realize, hey, what I did doesn't define who I am, right? Your past doesn't define who you are, right? You have to be value based. You can move forward and based upon your values, not based upon the situation or the attacks that are happening. So, all that to say is, woke up this morning, text message of a mess up, email in my inbox of an accusation, and I'm sure there's going to be a myriad of other things today. But I wake up today enthused because I love what I do. I love what we stand for. I know my vision is to empower entrepreneurs to live a life of freedom. I know the vision for my own life is I want to empower people to live a life of freedom, which comes and transcends even money, right? So I know what I stand for, and because I know what I stand for and I know what I'm trying to accomplish, the ups and downs of life will happen. People will say things, people won't say things. Some will be good, some will be bad. Some things will happen where we mess up, some things will happen where we do great. But at the end of the day, people will know, well, this is a value-based person. Luke believes what he believes, and he's stuck to it. And that's what I challenge you to do today is, what are your values? Are you a value-based company? Do you know what you stand for? And do you know what you stand for before you get into the fight? And if you don't, man, get that down on paper, man, commit to that. Get that laid out in a vision and a mission and the values that drive your organization, because it will dictate who you hire. It will dictate who you partner with. It will dictate what you do in response to people hating on you. It will dictate almost everything you do in life. But if you haven't decided that, you're going to be dictated by the opinions of others. So, hope that helps and challenges some of you this morning. It's Monday. It's 10-12. Get out there and win for you, for your family, for your clients. Appreciate you guys. And I hope to see you at 8%. Let me know if you're going to be at 8% in the comments. I hope you are. But if you're not, you're going to be missing out. I believe I speak on Thursday on stage. Excited for what I'm going to share at 8%. I think it's going to be an amazing conference. So if you're there, stop by our booth, Reminder Media, and let's connect. Appreciate you guys. Have a great one.